Hello, welcome to another Baldy Tim's Reviews, and today I've got another epic journey to do. I'm going to be travelling all the way from Johor Bahru Central up to Kuala Lumpur Central, and it's not going to be by air today, it's going to be by rail. So there is a train you can get that takes you from Johor Bahru. Sadly, it doesn't go straight through to Kuala Lumpur Central. You do have to change at a place called Gemas, but then you get onto a second train which takes you from that place up to KL Central. So the reason why you have to change trains is the section, I suppose it's in the southern part of the country of Malaysia, their rail system there isn't electrified yet. But from Gemas onwards, it is electrified. So the first train up to Gemas is a diesel train, I believe, and I think it's a bit on the slow side as well. Probably quite a lot of stations to stop at. So it's quite a long journey, about 5 hours. So it starts at 8:30 a.m. and it gets into Gemas somewhere around about lunchtime, somewhere around about 1 p.m. and then there's a wait for a couple of hours, so I'll probably have a leisurely coffee and lunch up there at that place, and then I get onto the electric train that takes me from Gemas right the way through Kuala Lumpur Central Station, and that journey takes just over 2 hours, I believe. So in total, it's going to be quite a long day on the trains, but it should be a very interesting, exciting day as well. I've done plenty of travel on trains in Britain, but I've never been on, well, pretty much never been on any kind of foreign train. So this is going to be very interesting indeed. So follow along with me, and I'm sure it's going to be exciting. Okay, this is my train up to Gemas. So coach C, which is coming up, and seat 1A. So here I am on the train from JB Central up to Gemas, which I believe is about a 4.5–5 hour journey. So should be going through some interesting places, I should think. So I'm in seat 1A in coach C. I have got a ton of leg room. So yeah, there you go, plenty of leg room there. I seem to be the king of leg room seats at the moment. Long may that continue. You have to be when you're 6'4" or 1.9 meters tall. So this should be pretty comfortable as far as leg room is concerned anyway. The seat itself is a reclining seat, doesn't seem too bad. And I did notice when I was boarding there is a restaurant car or a cafe car just back that way a little bit. I might go and check that out, and so I'll see if we can get a bit of food and certainly a cup of coffee up there once we get underway. So going to do that probably in about half an hour to an hour's time. We've still got a few minutes before departure. We go at 8:30 a.m. I think it's probably around 8:15, 8:20 at the moment, but hopefully we should get going pretty soon. on this first leg of my epic journey today, rail journey from Johor Bahru up to Gemas and then from Gemas to Kuala Lumpur, all doing today. So this first leg, which is up to Gemas, takes 4 3/4 hours, departed right on time, 8:30 a.m. this morning, and about halfway through, just over halfway through now, it's about 11:15, and the train is due into Gemas about 1:15. So it is quite a slow journey, especially as distance-wise. We're only looking at a couple of hundred kilometres or 130 miles. So I worked that out to being an average of about 26 miles an hour. So they do have some quite long stops in stations and elsewhere, so that probably accounts for some of it. And the train a lot of the time doesn't go particularly fast either, and maximum speed is probably 60 miles an hour, something like that. But it's all good. The scenery outside is quite something. A fair bulk of it has been, on this journey, has been these vast palm tree forests and plantations that just seem to go on and on forever. Absolutely amazing to see forests of palm trees if you're a European like me. So, yeah, highly enjoying this experience. Had a trip down to the buffet car a few minutes ago, just got a packet of crisps and a coffee, much needed coffee there. So yeah, not too bad, keeps me going. First thing I've had to eat or drink today apart from some water, so you know, this is going down very well. Yeah, the train I'm on is pretty old, coming to the end of its service life, I would say, but they are in the process of electrifying this section from Gemas down to Johor Bahru, and I've seen lots of shiny new stations along the way, such as the one I've just been through a few minutes ago, and a lot of electrical infrastructure going on for the electrification of the lines, and new tracks as well, I think, by the look of it. So they are in the process, and it looks like it's coming up or nearing completion as well. So I don't think it'll be too long, maybe another couple of years, if that, before the line is completely electrified all the way from Kuala Lumpur right the way down to Johor Bahru, which would shorten this journey I'm on now quite considerably, probably bring it down to half of what it is now, maybe, or just over. So yeah, judging from some of these new but as yet unopened stations that I've passed through, don't think it's going to be too long before the electrification is up and running. So if you're planning this journey, especially if you want to go on one of these old diesel trains, you might want to do it sooner rather than later. And I don't know if the microphone's picking it up, but the diesel motor on this train has got a glorious deep gurgling sound, which is fantastic. But like I say, if you want to experience or have the diesel experience, albeit a slow diesel experience, better do it sooner rather than later. Anyway, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the rest of the journey up to Gemas, and got a fair old stop over there, have a bit of lunch up there, and I will come back to you up in Gemas. Well, welcome to Gamas, and I tell you what, it's not often, speaking as an Englishman, that you actually have to go outside to warm up a little bit. I have heard that some of these Far Eastern trains, the air conditioning can be a bit vicious, and it was a little bit chilly at times on that train. So behind me, just inside the entrance of the station, is a cafeteria. I've got quite a while to wait here before my next train on up to Kuala Lumpur, so I'm going to get in there, then I'll tell you a little bit more about my journey. So that's stage one of this train journey over and done with. I'm here in Gamas station. So the first train left Johor, Bahru at 8:30 a.m. Got here a little bit ahead of time actually, just before 1. Shouldn't have been here until about 1:15, so ahead of schedule into Gamas. But I now have to wait until 3:50 p.m. for my next train, which takes me into Kuala Lumpur Central Station. I think that is around about 2.5 hours, just over. Gets me into Kuala Lumpur around about 6:30 p.m, somewhere around that time. So by the time I make my way to the hotel, get checked in and everything, I won't have much change out of 7 p.m. And seeing as I was out of my hotel from last night at before 8 this morning, it will be quite a long travelling day again. But at least with this one, all I've really got to do is just sit around on trains, looking out the window, enjoying the view. And in the case of this, I'm just waiting in the station, but as I've still got well over 2 hours, I might just pop out into Gamas, see what's what. I can't see too much at the moment, but I'm sure if I look, there'll be 1 or 2 interesting things to look at. So I'll go and do that in a minute. And then I'll probably grab myself a much needed coffee and a little bite to eat maybe. But it was a really good train journey. Lots of interesting sights out the window. Palm tree forests and plantations seem to go on forever. It seems that pretty much the whole of southern Malaysia is covered in palm tree plantations, so I'm guessing that Malaysia is one of the bigger producers of coconuts and other palm products in the world, judging from what I've seen out of the train window. Right, here's the second train from Gamas to Kuala Lumpur. Looks like a much more modern train here. And this is my coach, Coach E, and seat 2D. So that's me, seat 2D at the front.
Well, welcome to KL Central, which is spelt with an S in this part of the world, and we're in the middle of Kuala Lumpur. What a long journey that was, right the way up from Johor, Bahru. Been a very long travelling day. By the time I get to my hotel, it will be not much change from 12 hours, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping this hotel is just literally around the corner. It looks like it is on the map. That's what I wanted when I booked it. That's what I thought last night's one was going to be as well, but it ended up being about 1 kilometre away, so I'm hoping that's not going to be the case with this one, because to be honest with you, I'd like to be in my hotel room and relaxing as soon as possible. So I'm going to see you there. Wish me luck finding my hotel, which can be a bit of a job sometimes in these big cities, but yeah, hoping I'm going to be there sooner rather than later.
So that's another big travelling day done and dusted. Here I am in my hotel room right by KL Central Station here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and it was quite a day. I was thinking, am I going to be able to find this place a little bit more easily and a little bit more quickly than I did last night's hotel. It was quite a bit quicker and more easy, so I got here probably about 7:15 p.m. and I started out of the hotel this morning from Johor Bahru at probably 7:45 to get to the station for kind of 8 o'clock sort of time. So yeah, not far off a 12-hour day, a big long day. But this is actually the last of the big travelling days, which I've had a couple of now. So tomorrow is going to be a lot easier. Still going to be travelling for a good sort of 5 or 6 hours, but that should definitely be it. Shouldn't go beyond that, I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, a very interesting journey. So travelling up a good segment of Malaysia by train, so I got to see a lot of stuff, a lot of things. First of all, the one observation I'd make with the train stations here in Malaysia is it's a slightly different system if you're used to the UK ones, because obviously in the UK you can get your ticket and then go down to the platform whenever you want. You can go down there an hour, even 2 hours before your train arrives if you want to. If you love railway platforms that much, you're quite free to do that. But here in Malaysia it's a bit more like an airport gate. You have to wait upstairs in the waiting area, and then they only open up the barriers about 20 minutes before the train's due to depart, and then they let you down. You still have to go through the ticket barriers in the same way as the UK, and then down to the platform. So that's quite an interesting little difference. I had what you'd call a typical railway lunch. I went to a shop up the road, got a few bits. So I had a very nice iced coffee, which was delicious. I got some water, a bottle of water. I also got a packet of peanuts, and I got 2 curry puffs, which is an Asian delicacy I'm getting to know and love here. They're basically like little Cornish pasties with curry, curried chicken or whatever inside, rather than the normal Cornish pasty contents at home. So if you're in the Far East, I recommend a curry puff. Go for it. They are delicious. Although the ones I got from this shop today weren't the best I've had, to be fair. I'm looking forward to getting them in the next day or two from a proper street vendor, where they'll be a lot tastier, I should think. But anyway, the total cost for that little lot that I've just mentioned for lunch was literally about £3, ridiculously cheap. If that, £2.50 maybe. So let's get on to the cost of these rail trips. So you won't believe these prices, by the way. They're incredible. So the first leg of the journey from Johor Bahru up to Gemas, which
was about 130 miles, cost me the princely sum of £6. And then the second leg from Gamas to Kuala Lumpur Central Station cost just a tiny bit more, £8. So that's a total of £14 for a journey by rail that's roughly the equivalent of going from London to Manchester. So can you imagine getting a rail ticket from Manchester to London or London to Manchester, sort of one way for £14? I don't think that would happen somehow, do you? So absolutely insanely crazy cheap prices for rail travel here, and it's a really great way to get around as well. You see a lot of the country, and the trains are pretty comfortable as well, no complaints there. Both of them only seemed about half full, so you could spread out in your seat a little bit as well. And as far as this is concerned, Johor Bahru up to Kuala Lumpur Central Station via rail, an absolutely amazing day. So that's Baldy Tim's Reviews. Thanks for watching.